With the NFL schedule being released, it is time to go through the 3 toughest games of the 2026 NFL season. How we decide this is division rivalry games can be a part of this. International games can be a part of this. It's just the 3 toughest games. That's the only requirement. Jacob Hebert here for NFL World, going to break this down for you. Let's start off with the number 1, and we're going in order of the toughest games. Number 1 is the Seahawks at the Rams, or Rams at Seahawks, for multiple reasons, but let's try to cut it down to 4 reasons. The first reason being division rivalry game. Any game that you have of that, it's dialed up. Number 2, when they face each other. The first meeting they face each other is week 16. They go week 16 and week 18. So 2 of the last 3 games they face each other. That week 16 game is on Christmas. So they go division rivalry game, Christmas game is the first meeting of the season. They also play week 18. Then you have the fact that both these defenses and both these teams are very good, but their defenses are extraordinary. What Seattle was able to do with the dark side defense, what the Rams were able to do, you instantly knew whoever won the NFC Championship game last year was going to win the Super Bowl. You just knew it because both offenses were really good, but their defenses were extraordinary. The way they could determine the game, you couldn't beat them in that particular way. And you knew New England didn't have a chance. You knew Denver, if they didn't have a quarterback, wasn't going to have an opportunity at all. You knew it. That's how you knew this game in the NFC Championship game meant so much. It already did, but you knew whoever won was probably going to be the Super Bowl champion. But it's not the only reason. The last reasoning that I have for you is what happened a year ago. Not at the NFC Championship game, but on that Thursday night, a game in Seattle, Rams and Seahawks, where the Rams are winning. If they won that game, they get home field advantage. And the Seahawks come back in that game, go for a 2-point conversion. And the craziest play that probably happened in the NFL in terms of what happened, in terms of the officials were involved, what was going on. There was a replay for an extended period of time where it looked like a fumble that got pushed forward. It got into the end zone. Charbonnet with the heads-up play of just picking it up. And then after being reviewed for a while, it was determined it was a 2-point conversion. And they got it. So therefore, yeah, it was good. It was a good 2-point conversion. And that's how the Seahawks won. And they got home field advantage. And then the rest is history. This game means a lot. It's already going to be dialed up because of a divisional game. It's already going to be dialed up because of the incident that happened on that Thursday night with the 2-point conversion. It's already going to be dialed up because these two teams win the NFC Championship game. The fact that it's on Christmas puts a complete topping on this. You can't make it any better than that. You really can't. It's going to be fun to watch. To me, that's the best game of the year. I can stare at that schedule and I said, that's the best game, easily. It's going to be so fun to watch, and I can't wait. The second game of this is the Rams against the 49ers and week when this game is in Melbourne, Australia. The biggest concern is, again, division rival. It's a very big thing. The biggest concern is when you talk to a player about international games and they hate it. They hate it. They understand you want to expand the league, but they hate it. And anyone who says, no, I like international games. It's fun. We get to expand the league. It's great. They're lying. They're saying that's media talk. That's not what they believe. Okay? They don't believe it. They don't like it. That I have already a hard enough time to go on an airplane to play somebody else in the NFL. Now I have to go play that team. Also, not at my stadium, not at my home, not at their home. I have to fly to a different continent and play there. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. And the players, they understand it because it ruins their the way a player has a very structured life in terms of an NFL season. What they do every single morning, practice, everything. That all gets disrupted when you do an international game. Because you got to fly there, and you got to do all that stuff over there. You got to play a game, so you're already tired, and you got to fly back. The fact that this is week 1, it's going to be sloppy. Everyone knows this. It's the first game in Melbourne. You're going to send the 2 LA teams over there, the San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams. You're going to send them over there and you say, okay, go do it. The 2 California teams go over there to Melbourne and have to play a game. That's an insane ask. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It's going to be a tough game because it's week 1. It's going to be a tough game because it's a division rival. So it's already going to be sloppy as it is. Now we got to fly them to Melbourne, Australia. And any team will say this. Go watch anything. You can find everything. There's YouTube channels that talk about international games. There are teams that have gone and said how much equipment they bring on a standard game. And it's like between 600 to 700 pounds of equipment. And that they have to bring more if it's an international game. They got to bring over 1,000 pounds of equipment. And they can't put it all on the plane. So it either has to go on a different plane earlier or it has to go on a boat. So it gets there. They have to hope it's there before they go and play. It's a very difficult thing. That's the reason the NFL announces these international games first. So these teams have the opportunity to send the equipment that they need to because they won't have it. And you obviously won't trust what is over there because you don't know what it is. Everything disrupts the player. And then you have to worry about, okay, we just played a game. Now we're going to get back on an airplane, fly all the way back to California, and play in week 2 the following week. It's too much. It's way too much. But it's also what the NFL wants. To me, the biggest thing is this game is already going to be dialed up because it's a rival. It's already going to be amplified because it's an international game. So it's dialed to like another level. So instead of a 10, it's like a 12. It's an international game, so it's dialed up even more. And then on top of all that, it's a week 1 game, so it's already exciting. It's dialed up. We all know this. It's going to be disappointing. We all know that. But that's just the way it is. The third game is another international game. The Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens in Rio de Janeiro. Both teams have to fly anywhere between close to 5,000 miles or over 5,000 miles. We talked about with the Melbourne game about how you have to send equipment, how you have to do this, how you got to uproot a player, essentially. That's what you got to do. The only reason this is third and not first or not second is because this game is week 3, which is terrible for the player because every team fears this of a player playing in an international game. How does it affect them the following week, the following 2 weeks, the following month? How does it affect them? You don't know. So when you talk about international games, that's always a concern. Equipment, making sure the equipment is there is always a concern. Because I don't know if you guys have done this before or heard about this. When you have equipment like that, you have to fly it over or you have to send it via boat, it has to go through customs. So you have to write down what it is, the value of it, and essentially how much the item weighs. So that all has to go through customs. That's a whole different ballgame. You're asking to go to a different continent, which you have to do the same thing. It becomes a massive issue. But the reason that it's the third thing on this list is because everything else is the Melbourne game is week 1. Week 3, you've already played 2 games. Now I got to uproot this player, fly him to Rio de Janeiro, fly him back, and hope it doesn't affect him weeks 4, 5, 6, or even longer. There's always a concern about that. Don't get me wrong, I think the games will be fun. But it's kind of like when the Packers and Eagles played in Brazil a couple years ago, where the field was wet and players were getting hurt or sliding everywhere. They didn't know what to do. They're like, what is going on? Well, what's going on is the field wasn't prepared properly. Because it's a soccer field. It's built this way and not this way. And so it doesn't handle the weather the same. Well, now you're going to do that in Melbourne. Now you're going to do that in Rio. You got to hope that the field is okay. Because otherwise it's going to be an issue. It's not just a concern for that, but when you have to talk about equipment, sending it internationally, and then worrying about the players to get there internationally, come back, hope their bodies are okay after going on an airplane, after playing a game, going on an airplane, flying back, and then hoping that their rhythm, their body's rhythm, and what their time zone is not too much, is not changed so much that they can't adapt it in a week. Because it's going to affect the following games, which is why teams don't like doing international games. Prior to this, Dallas hadn't done an international game since 2014. They don't do it. They refuse because they don't want to lose a home game, which is what a lot of these teams lose. Because you make so much money, you're willing to do it almost. That's what is effective. But to me, that's the third game. The Rams, the LA Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers in Melbourne is the second toughest game. And the first toughest game, the toughest game of it all, is the Rams and the Seahawks on Christmas. That game is going to be very tough. And it's going to be the best game. I predict that it will be the best game of 2026. Let me know in the comments who has the toughest schedule in the league, and also what is the toughest game this year. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.